Hello, hello, everybody. What's up, people? What's up, Breakdowns by the Devil? What's up, Mr. Huskin? What's up, Miss Carew? What's up, Robert? Hey, Luke. Hey, Orpheus, how you doing? Hey, Eminem 3D, what's up? Look at all you lovely people gathering up for today. It's Thursday. Oh, what was that? My computer acting up as usual. Well, welcome to the metal show, the Thursday metal show with yours truly here. As I've turned it into a custom lately, it's not just the metal show. It's not just me just DJing on a Thursday night here in Greece for all you lovely people from around the world. I actually have a very special guest today, and we're going to have a great conversation and a great time. And I'm talking about a very awesome human being who happens to also be an amazing musician. I'm talking about Marios Iliopoulos of NIGHTRAGE, a legendary melodic death metal band, which I will bring you up on screen right now with 3, 2, 1. Press the magic button, Orpheus. There we go, Marios. What's up, man?
Cheers, man.
How you doing,
Thanks for having
me. My pleasure,
Thank you,
dude.
man.
How you doing, man? It's been a long time.
I'm fine, man.
Very long time since we last spoke, to be honest, because I've kind of known Marios people here, like kind of as in the boundaries, within the boundaries of metal music, within the boundaries of the same industry in which we were both active on different fronts. Marios has always had NIGHTRAGE. I've always been in record labels and magazines and webzines and the television and radio, and I've always been very fond of you, dude. I hope you know that I've always liked your music. I've always liked you like a person. So it was, to me, having you here today is an utmost honor and pleasure, my friend.
Thanks a lot for your nice and kind words. I appreciate everything. I want to send all my love and greetings to your viewers, and I'm very happy to talk about the band. Mm-hmm. And you're welcome to ask me whatever question you have in mind.
Oh, I'm here to absolutely, man.
For sure, man.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, listen, you're a very active musician. You've put out 10 studio albums with NIGHTRAGE, right? You've gone places, you've seen things, and you've done things that, to be honest, when it comes to musicians, I think it would be something that, a new starting musician would aspire to. I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, man, because, it's not about the riches. It's not about becoming like Metallica. Okay, ideally, most people would want that. But at the end of the day, because life is short, I don't know if you agree with me on this, it is about living the experience and sharing your passion and sharing your music, which you've always done perfectly. And 10 studio albums in, from the early 2000s all the way to 2024 when you released the latest studio album, Remains of a Dead World, right? Did I say it correctly?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Brilliant. So we did start off. We did start off with a song, right, from the latest album, correct?
Yes.
Would you like to tell me a little bit about? And we'll go backwards. We're going to start off from the song that we heard. So melodic death metal, where it's at right now. Some people say that your latest album is like a bit of back to the roots for NIGHTRAGE, kind of is what I've read in various reviews. To me, it is standard NIGHTRAGE. Like, you have a standard quality as a band, a very characteristic standard quality. How easy and how happy, easy or not, and how happy are you with your latest studio album after a career of about 23 years now, 25 years actually, with the demos included?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the latest album, Remains of a Dead World. Actually, this is the first time for us as a band to record an album entirely in Greece. And thanks to my good friend Fotis Bernardo, he recorded, produced, and engineered this album. He did an amazing work at his Deva Sound Studios in Athens, Greece. And I was really happy to have a Greek team around the band, like Bob Kachionis did the videos with Alex Karitakis, and we have Don Tuthas doing the artwork for this album. So it was a Greek team effort, and I'm really happy with the sound that Fotis did. And of course, not forget George Nerangis, that he did the mastering. It's a guy that I met back in the day at Dugout Studio from Daniel Bergstrand. He used to work there. And, you know, I'm very happy that we could actually make a good album, sounding on the you know, on professional level, comparing to, you know, to the industry standard. And Fotis, I think, is a really talented and a really one amazing musician and producer, and he helped us achieve, you know, to reach that goal.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, dude. And Fotis is also a person with whom you actually worked with during the first years of the band, right?
Exactly. He played on the second album, Descent into Chaos. He was younger 20 years ago. He was much younger back then, but still an amazing drummer.
We were both younger as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but he actually came to the studio in Sweden, in Studio Fredman, and everybody was blown away by his playing. And they actually asked me, "Ooh, wow! Can people play drums in Greece like that?"
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
He proved them, you know, that he's an amazing talent, amazing skilled drummer. So he played his ass off on this album. So I was really happy to have him back then. And now, for a reason, he came back in the band after we recorded the album. Actually, he came back in the band, and I'm really happy for that. So, you know, working with Fotis again is, I'm looking forward actually to recording new albums with Fotis from now on, and I think he's gonna have a great time.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing, dude. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that because you guys have, obviously, you know, over the years, like with people like Fotis Bernardo, you've developed a certain, you know, chemistry, right? You must have a certain chemistry that works really well, especially with Fotis, with whom you've been friends with and you've worked with in the past for years and all that. Did you feel that him joining the band again brought like that kind of chemistry again back? Yeah,
100%. I felt that maybe it was meant to be like that. Of course, I never expected him to be back in the band, and actually, I respect his time, and I know he has a lot of things to do with his studio, his family, other bands that he's playing with. Nightfall, 649, he's the singer, and also he's the drummer of the personal project of Pakistolis from Rory Christ. So I will. That idea actually never came to my mind to ask him to be in the band. Actually, I called him up and I asked him if he knows any drummer, but he was the first to tell me, "Yeah, I'm gonna play the drums for you, man."
Is that how it played out? You asked him if he knows the drummer, and it was like, "Me, I know me."
I was blown away because in fact, we had some Asian shows to play in Japan, Tokyo, 2 back-to-back shows, and one festival show in Seoul, South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and he, presented himself like you said, like that, and I was really happy and excited at the same time. Like you said, we have a certain bond and friendship with
Yeah, of
Fortis,
course,
and
man. Of
that
course.
that shows a lot, like on the live stage, or we have a great friendship that lasts forever, I think,
Of
and,
course, dude. Of course, man.
and we
Of course.
work together for many albums
Of course, dude. Of
and
course.
in the future as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, just to clarify for whoever has just joined, we mentioned and spoke briefly about Fotis Bernardo. Fotis Bernardo, you might, if you don't know him by his name, he's played drums for NIGHTRAGE. He's playing drums again for NIGHTRAGE. He plays drums for Nightfall, another known Greek band. He was also the drummer of Septic Flesh, another very known Greek band. And he's a very active and skilled musician. He also sings. He does many things. He's always busy. That's for sure. That's for sure.
He's a great musician in overall, I think, for this. He's not only a drummer. He knows about music, about harmony, about producing. He
Yeah.
has great ear. And he's a metalhead. That's the thing,
Yeah.
And he works exactly what he loves to do with metal music.
Exactly.
And it's a niche, genre, metal, and he knows it really, really well, I think, because he plays the music as well, so
Yeah.
that helps him have a better perspective about the sound.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. That makes a big difference. And speaking of your 10th, it's the 10th studio album, right, that you released last year, right?
Exactly. Yes.
How do you feel after such a long road? Because it is a long road, like starting from the early zeros, and now we're in 2025. We're still here. We're still able to sit here and do what we love most. You on stage and on your albums. Me being able to share that with the rest of the world and talk about it with you here, for example. How do you feel after your 10th studio album? Like, did it have any special meaning to you as a studio album after such a long ride?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of albums. If you ask me that questions 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I would never believe it. But I think it's all about the love for the music and the passion. Because we are, in the end of the day, I feel personally, I'm a fan of the music.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest fan of NIGHTRAGE, actually.
That's
So,
amazing.
having that in mind, it's all about, follow your dreams and never let go of the dream that you have, and always be there for the band, always work
Absolutely.
really hard for the band. And I do, and I always believed that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, for your dreams. If you're really obsessed with something, you can
You can
definitely
achieve.
achieve that.
I agree with you 100%. That's
All the
actually
goals
true.
you have in
It
mind
might
about that.
it might have certain hardships, and you of all the people that I've met, because you're true to your cause, man. You know what it actually means to have to go through shit to get to your dream in the end. Like, try and keep trying and keep going and keep going and keep going. However, I wanted to ask you, because obviously we started by talking about the latest album. I want to do a big rewind, if I may. I want to do a big rewind, and I want to take you back just for the people who don't know NIGHTRAGE and who are in the chat. There's lots of people joining constantly, I see here now, from everywhere in the world. Back in the early 2000s, you formed NIGHTRAGE together with Gus G, right? Correct?
Yes, that's true.
And for those out there who may be younger and maybe don't know who Gus G is, like Gus G, I'll just help you out, people, by saying that Gus G was the actual guitarist for Ozzy. The late, I don't know if Ozzy had another guitarist after Gus G, to be honest, but he was with Ozzy for many years. And
Amazing. That's amazing. That's a huge achievement.
I was gonna say, you were with Gus when both of you were starting out, very young, very passionate, very ambitious. Who would have known back then? Like, none of us in any position knew where life is gonna take any one of us, and like what we're gonna end up doing, how far we're gonna go with everything. Back then, how did this all come about? Like, were you childhood friends with Gus G?
Well, Gus used to be a prodigy, guitar prodigy back in the day
I know.
when he was really young. And I heard actually that he was a fan of my older band, Exhumation.
Exhumation, yeah.
And actually, he told me this story. Actually, Gus told me that he thought that we are a band from abroad, not
Really?
from Greece. And when we met for the first time, I explained to him, "No, man, we're living in the same neighborhood, you know." So that's how I think we became friends
Crazy.
with Gus. And it was at that time that Exhumation, my old band, split up, and then uh, we formed actually together NIGHTRAGE. It was an idea that because I wanted to still play the music. So it was a great beginning for us. But we sit down with Gus. We wrote some songs together, and we make this amazing friendship and bond. And actually, then later on, I took the band. I took the band and I moved permanently in Sweden
Yeah.
because I wanted to have a better future for the band. And Gus came along as well.
And I was gonna say that also because, and also when I advertised the interview for those who don't know, I always do this when I have a band interview coming up. I always put in brackets like the country just to sort of like help people figure out. I don't know if it makes any difference at the end of the day. Countries that don't really necessarily, set any bar or any sort of like automatic value to music, country names, but I put for NIGHTRAGE Sweden and Greece, and some people may be wondering, well, does that mean like half of the or some of the members are from Greece and some from Sweden? But the reality is what you just described. You actually left Greece and you moved to Sweden, and there you also met a lot of amazing, famous as well, Swedish musicians, which you worked with. Would you like to tell people a few of the amazing people that you had the honor and the pleasure to become friends with back then, when they were also maybe starting out, kind of, etc., etc.?
Yeah, of course. Actually, when I moved to Sweden, my first home was Studio Fredman. I didn't have any money, any place to stay, any work. So Fredrik Nordstrom, which I knew from the Exhumation recordings, we have recorded 2 albums beforehand with Fredrik Nordstrom at his own Studio Fredman, where actually at the Gates, Lord of the Soul, In Flames, Desert Race, blah, 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 all these great albums were recorded. So Studio Fredman was my first home, and then I knew, of course, Thomas Lindberg even from the Exhumation days, but I met him by luck on the street, and I explained to him about myself, moved to Sweden for the music, and I'm looking for a singer, and that's how. And I presented him, of course, the demo that I had in my hands.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
he was convinced actually to come to studio and in the Studio Fredman and listen to the songs, and he wanted to, help us with the vocals. And I met a lot of people like Per Muller and Jensen playing the
Yeah, I
drums.
was just gonna
first
say,
album.
like, you've worked with at the Gates, the Haunted, like members or previous members of
Yes.
bands like that, which is crazy, man. Like, all of them are amazing musicians. Like, I know it for sure. They're amazing musicians, those people.
Yeah, well, I never expected that to happen, to be honest with you. And but I was so passionate about that.
Yeah.
It was the only goal that I had in mind
Yeah.
because that's the reason for me moving to Sweden. I really wanted to record that first album, Sweet Vengeance. That was the ultimate goal for me. That was the only thing I was thinking day and night, working hard for it.
And
For a reason.
honestly, on what you're saying, sorry to interrupt, back then, Sweden was the place to be. Like, when it came to the kind of music that you play and the music that you loved, I take it at the time, and you would listen to as a metalhead, it was the place to be. It was hot, Sweden, and it still is. Amazing musicians, amazing bands through and through over the decades. But especially back then, it was like the scene in Sweden was really popping.
Yeah, exactly. They have a really good sense of melody and a really good sense of the overall music business. And actually, the government helped the younger bands to establish themselves with They give them shows,
Yeah.
musical instruments, money, and stuff like that. A lot of freedom, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Even the government itself helps aspiring musicians with
Yeah.
when they have when they don't have a work.
Yeah.
They give them unemployment insurance to
Mm.
be able for them to work with the music, and that actually, create a lot of bands and a lot of music, a lot of freedom.
A lot of freedom. Mm-hmm.
Something that, of course, we don't have in Greece.
No.
Here in Greece, it's every band has to work 10 times harder in order to make an album.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
hard. But
That's so true.
I realized I saw a big difference when I was in Sweden. I saw that people are very open-minded when it comes to music,
Mm-hmm.
and the musicians itself are really good people. They have a good scene.
Yeah.
Everybody helps each other. There's no, uh, bad blood or something like that between the bands, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a fun thing to do for them,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
work with music because they like to create. They're very creative people, and
Yeah.
that also. And I learned a lot. For me, was a big learning experience to be there and see all that information.
For
It was a
sure.
big learning experience for me to be a better musician, and
Mm-hmm. It helps you
always learn
develop. Mm-hmm.
from the better ones. Always.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. It scenes like that, and people and the industry over there, it shapes you in a very positive way because you take away really, really helpful things when it comes to developing your skills and your music, and absolutely, I agree 100%. And you've worked with a lot of people. So now, just to clarify, you don't live in Sweden, right? You live in Greece currently.
And it's been a long time now, like 8, 9 years that I moved permanently in Greece. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Greece right now, but I always travel back and forth
Mm-hmm.
because some of my members are from Uppsala, Sweden. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, now two of the members left the band, but still Francisco, our bass player, he
Mm-hmm.
lives in Uppsala, Sweden. So I'm always going there back and forth. A lot of times just for hanging out or
Mm-hmm.
playing, jamming with him, and he's a great guy. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's always a connection with NIGHTRAGE Sweden and with Sweden. I think there's
Yeah,
always a
for sure,
connection.
for sure. Would you attribute? I know that sometimes when people look at a band's history and they look at the lineup, I know that sometimes people try to figure out why, and it's not necessarily, just to clarify to people watching, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I will tell you beforehand. Would you attribute your lineup changes over the years to your amazing personality? And I really mean it. You have an amazing personality. A lot of people love you in the industry. I know that for a fact. Would you attribute that to like wanting to work with various people over time, as in like to seek chemistry with other people, try to create things with other interesting people? Is that part of lineup changes over the course of 25 years?
Well, the band when it started, I was alone. And there was no band, actual band.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the way for me to start.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start from somewhere, and that was probably my calling card. Like, okay, we can start like that. And then eventually, I started to looking for more permanent members.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I can tell you one thing: people change,
Yeah.
situations change in life.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably nothing permanent.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is that I want to keep continuing creating music, and it was hard for me to be able to find well-minded musicians to
Mm.
follow this dream. And probably nobody in this life, maybe nobody wants to follow your dream.
Mm.
But I feel now with the lineup we have right now with Fotis and Konstantinos on vocals and Francisco and Kostas A, the new guitar player that we just already got. It's people that they love to play music and they feel that music and the people are the most important things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when life comes in the picture, it's getting a clash. Sometimes it's hard for people to
Yeah.
follow this
Yeah.
way of life because playing this kind of music for many years,
Yeah.
it actually becomes a way of life.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for people to follow that path. But for me, I feel very happy right now because we we have really, really nice guys in the band, and we are on the same page, and we understand each other. And first and foremost, the most important thing for us is to play the music.
Is to play the music, exactly. Which brings us to the next song I'm gonna play. Obviously, we started off, like I said, we started off today's show at the beginning with a song. Just give me 1 second, from the brand new album of yours, which was released last year, and now
It's sort of like
exactly, yeah. And now we're gonna. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. See, sorry, people. By the way, so for some of you out there know, I had a very, very rough day with my face today. I was in so much pain. I was actually in tears, but I'm better now. I'm on like painkillers and all that, and I'm good. So sorry if I seem loopy, people, and if I forget stuff or if I misclick on things. It's just me struggling to pull my brain together. I'm gonna be fine though, don't worry. So yes, indeed, we thank you so much, Mario. Thank you. You've had, listen, dude. We're gonna talk about this after the song. We're gonna touch upon hardships, recent hardships, not too analytically, but it is something that I want to address because, dude, I'm happy you're well. I'll just say that I'm happy you're well. I'm happy you have your health. I'm happy you're here because you can keep on pumping good music and your amazing aura into the metal world, man.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, brother. So we started off with the Throne of Melancholy, like you said, from the latest album. And the next song, which is obviously, just to clarify, I always ask my guests, I always give them the courtesy of basically choosing what songs they would like to play, to broadcast from their discography, which I think is nice, instead of me just going, oh, I'll play this or that. You've chosen Descent into Chaos, right? The song that I'm going to play now for people.
Yes.
Would you like, for people who are new here, would you like to tell them just a few words, like the album, which it's from, the year, or if there's anything significant to you for this song?
Yeah, that was actually the second album of NIGHTRAGE after the, let's say, success of Sweet Vengeance, with all this big lineup. I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted to have a more stable lineup. So Fotis Bernardo came and played the drums on that album. He did an amazing job. And we have a new bass player, Henrik Carlson. And of course, Gus and Thomas was still in the band. And we created a more brutal album, I think. Sometimes with a successful album, bands tend to become softer. So we actually follow the Pantera path, uncompromising. We wanted to play, of course, brutal music with a sort of melody, and I think Descent into Chaos captivates that vibe really well. Thanks to Patrick Steen for recording and mixing the album, and recording and producing the album, and Fredrik Nordstrom mixed and mastered the album in the end. So it was,
excellent. So listen, people, we'll listen to Descent into Chaos for 3 minutes and 6 seconds, that the song is, and we'll be here. You'll see us on screen. You won't hear us. We'll probably be listening to the song anyways, because it's going to be blasting in my ears, so it's going to be kind of hard to hear Mario talk to me anyway. So we'll listen to the song and we'll be right back, people. Hold tight. Enjoy. Oh, play. Hit the play button. Is it not playing? Yo, people, can you hear the song? Descent into Chaos is the song. Can you hear it? Descent into chaos. What a tune! And I've been pinning comments for Marios to read while we were sat here listening to the amazing song. As you can see, Maria, there's a lot of people from around the world right now watching from all sorts of countries, my friend. Brilliant, brilliant. You know, I wanted to ask you something and I almost forgot. You know, back in the day, back at the beginning of the band, maybe something that people don't know, but I think this was during the demos, right? Gus G actually sang. He sang, didn't he, at the beginning?
Yes, he was the singer on the demos, actually. Yes, because we couldn't find a singer in Greece, so he presented himself. Like, can I sing, Marius? Yeah, of course, you can do it.
Please tell me something, dude. I've not asked you this ever. Was it because Gus G was singing that Century Media signed you back then for your first studio album?
Well, it was when we recorded the actual album with Thomas Lindbergh and all these guests, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Then Century Media, actually Nuclear Blast, they really both wanted the album, and Century Media make a better deal with Frederick. And thanks to Frederick, I owe him forever for that. He fixed the deal for me. I didn't expect that, to be honest. That was my dream, actually.
You didn't expect it? You didn't think it was that good?
No, I didn't expect that we will sign with Century Media with the first album.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that because of course, it's good to believe in yourself, but sometimes you need to, see the reality. But it was a dream come true because Century Media actually wanted us, even from the Extremation days in '98. They presented a deal, but unfortunately, the other guys in the band back then in Extremation, they thought it was too hard to sign a deal like that. So I was really sad.
Yeah.
And then eventually I did it by myself.
Of course, man.
I fixed NIGHTRAGE and they gave us the deal.
Amazing. Did they remember you personally from back when you were with Exhumation?
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yes, they actually knew me from the Exhumation, but it was a small band. A small band that we were one of the first bands that signed with a foreign label like Holy Records on the second and third album, and Die Hard on the first album with Danish label, Emancipation Productions. Thanks to Michael Anderson actually helping with the publishing and all that stuff. Understand the whole how the whole music business is working.
Yeah.
And it was maybe meant to be.
Let me just say for people who are of younger generations than you and me, in the early 2000s, people out there watching right now, there were certain record labels, and we're talking about the era where the CD era. We're talking about the CD, the compact disc, when then CDs were at their peak back then in the early 2000s. There were labels in metal music like Century Media Records, Nuclear Blast Records, Metal Blade Records, Roadrunner Records. Those were the four biggest metal labels back then, if I'm not wrong. So
Eric as well, Peaceville from England as well.
Peaceville, yeah, exactly. Peaceville, which had, I think, Cradle of Filth, etc., and other bands like Entombed, etc. Earache, you're right. But the most, like the ones who had the biggest share of bands and money, I think back then were Century Media, Metal Blade, Nuclear Blast, and Roadrunner. I think the biggest ones that had a lot of bands and a lot of revenue. So I want you to try and remember how was it when you when you received the, was it a phone call or was it a written letter back then, or was it an email back then when they
It was
contacted you?
Frederick. Frederick called me. If you talk about the Central Media deal, Frederick called me. He said they want your band.
How did you
And
feel? What are the emotions that go through a musician as young as you were back then in your early 20s when you know you want to get somewhere, you have a vision, you have things you aspire to as a musician, as a metalhead as well, obviously. What are the emotions that go? Because I'm saying this because there's a lot of new bands in the chat. There's a lot of newer, younger people out there who might want to, try in music and so forth. What is the feeling that goes through you when you first get your breakthrough, especially when it's your first official album?
It was definitely a dream come true, for me. Probably that day was one of the happiest times in my life. Like I said before, I couldn't believe it. Like, wow, I couldn't believe it. Like when Freddie told me they want the album, really? It was like that.
You must have said, "Are you joking? Are you joking? Is this a joke?"
And actually, the thing was that they really, really loved the album. They really loved the songs we have created. And that's the reason for them to, put all that money and all that effort to sign NIGHTRAGE and, release the album, because they really loved the album. They were insisting like how much they loved every song in the album. Probably they were big fans of At the Gates, and that has to do with Thomas Lindbergh being in the band.
At the Gates was hot. They were very hot back then, and that specific era, At the Gates as a name, they were very hot in the early zeros.
Yes, and he has a certain unique voice, Thomas. And along with my songs and my writing and the lyrics that I wrote, together with his voice, created that particular style that Central Media loved. Really loved from the sign the band in the end.
So this is a great segue for me, because I wanted to ask you. So going from that era, those emotions, that time, and that specific era where record labels were actually a thing. Fast forward to 2025, a different landscape in music, different medium, different. A lot of things are different. Aside from live performances and merchandise, everything else has pretty much changed. How do, as a veteran, a true veteran in the metal industry, and in your genre, the melodic death metal genre, how do you view what the music industry is like today? How does it seem to you, having seen the whole change from then to this?
It changed a lot, to be honest. Sales are declining. It's getting harder actually, because there is now a lot of more bands competing with the same for the same thing, which is kind of challenging, And I like that, because I like that to be able, to work. You need to work harder for with your music. And it's really difficult to stand out, because there's tons of bands out there. But that doesn't change anything for me personally, because I feel I'm the same person. I didn't change. I'm the same guy that I used to be 25 years ago, and I still have the same passion and the same love for the music. So for me personally, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I like to create music, play the guitar, play with my band members, playing shows with the band, creating new albums, new songs. So it doesn't really matter. Of course, it's 25 years later. We are older people now.
Yes, brother. Yes, I know.
Of course, but for me, it doesn't really matter, because I feel I'm the same guy. I see music as a passion. I'm really obsessed with NIGHTRAGE. Playing this kind of music for me is the ultimate thing. I live. This is my life, and this is what I want to do. So
absolutely,
even if it gets harder and gets shittier sometimes, it doesn't really matter, because I still can play, and I feel good now after what I've been through. Like you said before, I had some problems with my health, and for me that's the most rewarding thing. It's that the fact that I'm I'm able to still play the music and be with my friends and having some good
Absolutely.
time together.
And speaking of which, if I may say, you would you like me
Of course.
yeah, you had to deal all of a sudden, unexpectedly, right, with a brain hematoma that you discovered, right?
Yes, in the beginning of the year, the story goes like that. Last year on October, when we were on the Asian tour, we did two Japanese back-to-back shows in Tokyo, and then the third show was in Seoul, South Korea. And that night in Seoul, I realized that I couldn't headbang because the more I moved my head, the more migraines I started to have,
Oh
and
shit.
that was really strange. And from that day on, every day I had migraines and headaches, and
Holy
they
shit.
didn't seem to get away. So I started to get worried, and then on the beginning of the new year in January 2025, uh, I had a rough start. I had a really bad food poisoning, and then
Oh,
the headaches were becoming
amplified.
really really bad. So that was the alarm for me to go to the doctor and neurologist. And he told me to make an examination in my brain, and we found out that on the left side of my brain I have a structural hematoma, unfortunately, and that's life-threatening. Actually, you need to take this blood away because this blood can make you paralyzed or even death.
Even
So
die
you need
from
to
it.
take it away
Yeah.
from the brain. And I was ready actually to make a surgery, but luckily they gave me a second option with some cortisone. I took some cortisone for 2 weeks, and then I started to get some anti-epileptic pills, which I'm still getting in case something happens. But after a while, this hematoma the body absorbed it by
Wow.
itself. So I
Wow.
was really fortunate to not being able to go to the surgery, and
Yeah.
now I feel good. There's no headaches anymore, and I realize I can still play the music. I can still be on stage. I'm very grateful for that, and
Absolutely,
it
dude.
was a very rough start. But sometimes when you are in that situation, you realize how important health is, because a lot of times we take it for granted. But the most, we are rich without knowing it because we have our health. And every morning we are waking up, we need to realize that
Yeah.
we are healthy and we are okay, and we
Yeah.
need to be happy for that only.
Absolutely, man.
And everything
That's
else doesn't really matter, to be
no
honest.
everything, like in the grander scope of things. At the end of the day, when something shakes you like that, it puts things into perspective, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure it was very scary for you. I'm sure you thought about a lot of things and everything together at the same time.
Yeah, it makes you think more deep about yourself, about what you do in life, what's the purpose of life, and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And I realize health is the most important thing, and we shouldn't
absolutely,
take it
dude.
for granted.
Yo,
We should
is it
always be grateful to be alive and be well.
absolutely? Is it true that this happened to you because of headbanging?
No, that's the one of the crazy things, because they asked me several times if I hit my head somewhere, and I never hit my head that hard, actually. And I explained to them that I'm a musician, I'm headbanging, big, really fast
Yeah,
movements of the head back and forth. And actually, there's an article on Loudwire which actually explain the exact case that I have, structural hematoma, that other musicians also got this from headbanging and stuff
really?
like that. So the neurologist actually last time now that I going for an examination, he told me that my case is really, really rare.
Wow.
So he wants to present me on the medical, on his team, on the doctor team there,
Wow.
and show my case to them, because he thinks if I got this from headbanging, it's a really rare case.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've always known that from headbanging you can have serious like neck issues. I knew that. Like I know a lot
Yes.
of people who've had like really damaged their necks over decades of headbanging. But I never knew that from headbanging you could, even in a rare situation like yours, you could get brain hematoma. It's kind of scary to think about it. It kind of makes me think twice before I start shaking my head
Yeah,
back and
man.
forth.
It's crazy if you think about it. Like
Yeah, absolutely, man.
we're time for metal, let's say.
But you're like a true metal trooper that you are. You beat that shit and you went through it with your music, dude. You sliced it into pieces and you've gone forward. And because people were asking, are we going to hear another song from NIGHTRAGE? Yes, Max, I believe Max was asking. We will. Marios here has selected another song from the previous albums of NIGHTRAGE. To be exact, let me just bring it up because I don't have it in front of me. It's Spiral, the song Spiral. Would you like to say a few things, Mario, about Spiral and the album it comes from?
Yes, after we recorded the first two albums in Studio Fragment, I felt I needed a change producer, and I went to Denmark and I worked with mighty Jacob Hansen,
Yes.
one of also the best producers
Amazing.
in
Hansen is
metal.
amazing, dude. Nah.
But actually, Nightfall worked with Jacob Hansen on the latest album right now. But I was fortunate enough to work with Jacob in 2007 on the third NIGHTRAGE album, A New Disease is Born. And we recorded everything at his studio, and we had the best time. He's an amazing musician. Used
Yeah.
to play with Invocator as a singer and guitar player, along with Per Moller Jensen from The Haunted back in the day. And now he's running his own studio, and he's doing so many good bands there. Jacob, he's a really, really nice guy. Yeah, we recorded that album on his studio, entirely on his studio, and the sound was a little bit more different, more. I don't want to say metalcore, but maybe back then metalcore was the huge thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of a trend. So we probably the production is more in that direction, but the songs we wrote, it's still NIGHTRAGE, the melodies,
Of course.
the written and the amazing voice from Jimmy Strimmel, a new singer that I found back then. So we created the album and it took, we got really good feedback from the metal magazines and metal.
Absolutely.
And that fans, of
100%.
course.
Absolutely. I remember all of these albums. So we're going to listen to Spiral, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. More NIGHTRAGE for your ears. Here we go.
Thank you. Stay metal. Hello, mate. Thank you. Love that. We should come back and play shows for you in the United Kingdom.
Can you people hear it clearly? Loud and clear, the music?
Oops. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thanks a lot to hear nice words. Cheers, bro. For sure.
Searching for moments like this, ways which you act as a guidance, lead by your words and your lies. Searching for moments like this, ways which you act as a guidance, ways which you act as a guidance.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, you can say that. We have our own sound, I think.
There we
Anyways.
go. There we go. We just listened to Spiral. I say let's take. You know what? Let's take. This is a good moment to take questions. People, if you want to talk to Mario, if you want to ask him, anything, pop it in the chat. Orderly, nice, and I'll pin it on screen. And the moment I pin it on screen, he'll answer to whatever it is that you're asking. I see Claudio says this one has top melodies. So he's talking about Spiral, huh? Top vocals, perfect production. It's a little metalcore, and it's a little metalcore. It's perfect.
Like I said before, because we changed studio on that album, we went to Jacob Hansen studio, and the songwriting also, called for that kind of sound. So it was meant to be like that. The songs we have in our hands back then. Yeah, we played in Finland actually back in the day. We would love to come back. It's an amazing country. I love Finland.
How long has it been since you've played Finland? Was it many years now?
Many years now. I think it's maybe 10 years, something like that. Yes, it's been a long time. Well, we played them the tour with us. I remember with Vader. It was Vader, and it was really good. Amazing country, metal country.
Very metal country. Very metal country. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Bryce is from New Zealand. He says, "What is Mario's biggest influence as a singer?" He's not a singer. But,
well, I like singers, and I think Hetfield is the one that I like. Because he sings from his heart.
James Hetfield from Metallica.
Yes.
Cool. That's cool. Claudia says, all this, still talking about the
thank you very much.
Yeah, the album, from the last song that we listened to. Brett says, okay. Feel free, people, now is the moment. If you want to ask anything, pop it in the chat. What was I gonna say? So bringing us to today, obviously you have obviously I would need 4 hours if we were to talk about every single album of yours and like all the eras of the band. It's a lot to talk about, but after highlighting obviously the path, things that led, or things that were part of the journey that led to today, to where we are today, and also obviously we spoke about the hardships on a personal level that you had to go through with health and all that. Speaking of now, and NIGHTRAGE right now, having put out an album in 2024, Remains of a Dead World, are you gonna be touring? Are you gonna like what are you guys gonna be up to in 2025 or 2026? Like, what do you have like generally going on?
We are going to play some fests this year,
Hmm.
probably two fests, and then the goal right now for us is to create new songs because we have interest from a lot of labels. We want to sign a new deal.
Hmm.
So the goal is to record actually next year a new album and release a new album and start to play even more shows. Because now with the lineup we have now, everybody is willing to play and everybody is free and they can follow the band in every tour, every show we are supposed to play.
So,
So that's the goal for us now to
mhm.
record a new album, find a new label, and of course play as many shows as possible because at this point right now I have written 45, 46 new riffs. I'm very inspired. So I think the next album uh, we're gonna create with Fotis. We're gonna work together. It's gonna be the best album of NIGHTRAGE, I think.
Nice, nice.
Favorite show, maybe that was the one we played in South Korea festival back in the day. We played, it was a big festival and it was really great show for us playing there.
Oh, Neat here says, "What's the biggest crowd you've ever?" Yeah, tell me. I want you to do two things. I want you to tell everyone and myself the biggest crowd you have ever stood before, as far as venues and arenas go, like indoors. Let's call it indoors, and the biggest crowd outdoors that you've ever stood
Yeah.
before.
Probably South Korea was the biggest one. And indoors, I remember it was a show that a tour we did back in 2005 or six with Bolt Thrower,
Whoa.
Malevolent Creation, and Prophagist to play in Hamburg. An indoor show.
That's
was
a crazy
packed.
lineup. That's a crazy lineup, dude.
Of course, the people came for Bolt Thrower. It's a legendary band. But we were lucky enough to open for them, so it was good to play in front of a lot of people. Actually,
Do you remember any particular venue that ever stood out in your mind that it was like, I don't know, like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people inside?
might be this Hamburg show.
Yeah.
It was more than 1,000 people for sure.
And in Korea, South Korea, was it like something like 20, 30,000 people there, or like
Not that many people, but it was actually I don't know 2,000-3,000 something like that.
that's still
I
big?
can't remember exactly, but
No, no, of course,
it
of
was
course.
two stages. It's a big festival in South Korea that we played. Yes.
Luke here from Scotland says, obviously, there's been a lot of changes with the band over the years. How have you managed all of that?
Yeah, it can be a struggle, but at the same time, it's a relief when you find new guys that actually can love the band and you can play with them and they can follow the band schedule. It's for the better, of course. It's hard nowadays for us to make a living out of that. So people sometimes, they want to do something else.
What is
Because
the
of
main
course
what is the main revenue for what is the main source of income for an established
it's
band like
the live
yourselves?
shows actually, and the merch you are selling on the shows. But in order to do that, there's a lot of expenses. It's not easy especially after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Things became more expensive. So it's even more harder because of so many bands being want to play. And of course, everything's more expensive: the gasoline, the traveling, the venues, the everything is getting more expensive. So it's a tough business to be honest. And
Absolutely.
a lot of people can be there for that. It's not an easy work to do. If you need to be very very strong person actually to be able to survive this
Exactly.
business. I think.
I was
So
gonna say to
that's
survive. Yeah.
that's a very good answer for this guy that the friend that he asked about the lineup changes. It's because of that. It's the reality. Reality is really really hard, especially in a let's say small band like NIGHTRAGE. I don't consider NIGHTRAGE a big band. So mid-sized kind of band. So it's really hard for us to, cover the expenses and make a living out of it. So
Yeah.
that's what explains the probably
Absolutely. The
the
lineup changes
change.
over time because musicians are always trying to find a way to survive in this
It's
in this
survival,
world.
man.
Yeah.
It's survival, and I understand that. It's illogical.
And what people don't realize is that in a lot of cases, bands obviously that are not like you characterized it. You said middle tier. Let's say middle tier kind of bands. Like not. Let's say if the top tier is bands that are like always in the spotlight, like really big bands, they can probably actually live from this. But everybody else, like if you're not, I don't know, if you're not Metallica, if you're not, I don't know, even the more modern bands, the ones that are like arena bands or whatever, all the other bands are either new or mid tier and established. So if you're in the middle tier and you're an established band, a lot of people in a lot of bands, hundreds of bands, thousands of bands, they actually have to work full-time jobs. A lot of them are
Exactly.
teachers, a lot of them are, I don't know, do this, that, mechanics, whatever, like whatever they can do to survive, basically.
I'm talking to you from my work right now,
For real?
and that explains everything.
No, I know, brother. I know, man. You gotta
It's
do what
hard,
you
man.
gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do to be able to survive. Because aside from having fun on stage, and the ethical, the moral reward that is music and your passion, at the end of the day, you open the fridge. You open the fridge and you're like, I need, you need to be able to be okay. Like,
And this is our payment, actually. The reward, we get from the love we get from the fans and the
Absolutely.
nice comment, the connection we have, we want to share with all the people that come to the shows. This is our payment, I think.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you need to do it from your heart, man. You need to play music from the heart, for the heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not for something else. That's my personal opinion.
Absolutely. And
And talking about the struggling, even the top tier bands, they don't make it. I believe personally that how many bands are living from metal, really living from metal? It's like 10, 15 bands in the
20
world.
maybe, or I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It's probably it's the style of music we're playing. Also, it's not popular and it's not commercial enough. It's kind of underground, So you need to, get away with it, man, and
Absolutely.
try your best.
Yeah, you can only try. In life, I always say you can only try. If you don't try, you will never find out if you don't try.
Yeah, my big dreams actually is to create the best album, always, and I believe the better ones are gonna be the next ones for NIGHTRAGE.
Have you always felt that? I'm kidding, because I've had this conversation all my life with musicians. Oh, what happened? Oh, there he is. Why did it? Wait, let me fix you.
I don't see myself.
Can you see yourself? No.
Not in the. I see it on my camera, but not in the double camera we are showing.
If you tap it, I think if you tap it and then you get like options like this box or that box to be able to say like yours, or you can either see yours or you can choose. I think
I was looking both cameras before, but now let me see.
maybe it got stuck. Maybe it got stuck, and you just need to pop it in and pop it out. Good.
Feel like I see myself on the single camera, but not on the double camera.
What is it showing you on the double camera?
The double camera, I see only I don't see anything.
My profile picture.
I don't see you and me together. I only see myself.
Okay, I don't know why that did. Why I did that.
Yeah, I don't see us together. I can hear you well. Anyways,
you can hear me. Yeah, we can see you. I can guarantee you that you're on screen like you were in the same window. So, what was I gonna say? Great moments is price.
Yeah, but I don't see the comments now. That's the problem.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'll have to read. If anything, I'll have to read it for you. I'll pin it on screen anyways. So, It'll appear on screen, but I'll read it. Don't worry, I'll read it to you.
Thanks, Orpheus. Thanks, man. Thank
Don't
you
you
very
worry,
much.
brother. It says Iona Lady Garden from Scotland says technology is the worst at all times. Yeah.
Yeah, it can happen.
Somebody here, Open Your Mind is their nickname. Says in Greek, he says Kalispera Marie, which is good evening, Marie.
What's up, man? Thank you very much.
And who else is here? There's a black metal artist here. The only Marios is here. Says hello, hello, dude. If you wanna ask anything, people, you can. I'll pin it on screen and I'll read it for Mario because I'm not too sure. Neither of us. We're a bit too old to be able to resolve every single thing that happens to us live. Me personally, I always feel very old when it comes to that. But don't you worry, we got everything covered. Actually, there's two songs that you selected outside of NIGHTRAGE. As a metalhead, as a metalhead yourself, because you are a true metalhead, Maria, you've picked two songs. And you've picked the first one. I don't know if you want to stick around for them. Obviously, Maria, it's a free my interviews and my show. I am not corporate. Like I am whatever you feel like, however you feel like. If you want to chill for those two songs, obviously, because I know they're like 21 minutes in length, just the music. You're more than welcome to chill here with me and listen to them. But is there any specific reason behind, for example, Iron Maiden's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner that you picked?
Yeah, it's an epic song, and it's one of my favorite bands.
But of course.
It's a big, epic song with many riffs, a lot of changes. And it's an adventure, When you listen to that song, you need to listen from start to finish. And it has a great vibe, really great vibe. I really love that song.
100%.
I'm very inspired, actually, from Maiden and their whole, especially the first 7 albums are diamonds for me,
Mm-hmm. Bryce from New Zealand says, very epic song. Yes, Marios. I'm just reading the comments. The only Mayfius says, when was the moment you realized music was what you wanted to do? That's such a great question, actually.
It's a good question. Yes, yeah. I think it was a show that I watched in videotape back then. It was the Dortmund show in Germany, where Maiden and Def Leppard, Ozzy Osbourne, Quiet Riot, Michael Schenker played there. And when I saw Maiden there, it was on the Peace of Mind tour. I got really hooked. I realized, my God, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be able to play like that. I want to be able to create songs like that. So it was a big moment for me,
Absolutely. That sounds amazing, dude. That sounds like a life-changing moment. 100%. Miss Karu says, but I think we've answered this. I think, can you name your favorite concert you played with your band? Is it the Hamburg concert?
The Hamburg show, maybe that was one of the highlights for us. For me,
Hamburg and South Korea. I remember Hamburg and South Korea.
Exactly.
Here we have a Greek metalhead is called Death Metallian, says, Γεια σας παιδες, καλησπέρα Maria και Orphea, which is, I'll translate it real quick. It's, hi guys, good evening to Marios and Orpheus. Good evening, dude.
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, thanks for joining us. Need says, up the irons. Iona Lady Garden says, it's an epic song. Speaking of Rime of the Ancient Mariner, no more information needed. I agree. Bryce from New Zealand says, Rock'em Ring? No, we were not talking about Rock'em Ring. Rock'em Ring is a gigantic festival in Germany. Usually you see, like, I don't know, like Metallica and Korn and I don't know, like usually it's huge bill kind of names. So Def Leppard, Iona Lady Garden from Scotland says, Def Leppard, I'd have loved to see them back in the day. Heavy Melon says, Marios rules.
Thank you very much.
He definitely rules. Miss Karu says, "Oh, okay, I missed it earlier. Thanks." Though no worries, Miss Karu, about the concert question. Don't worry. That's why we're here, anyways. And plus, people, just so you know, I always upload, and Maria as well. I always upload the interview the next day or the day after to the tube, you know, for people who missed it to be able to sit down and watch the full thing. So it's going to be online for you as well, brother. Luke from Scotland says, any plans to come gig in the UK?
Yeah, we would love to. Just scream at the promoters there to bring us over. We just need an invitation, and we're gonna be there for sure. We, I really love England and Scotland and amazing country. The country actually that heavy metal was born.
I always say that, my friend. You're absolutely right. People tend to forget that heavy metal music came from the UK.
Exactly.
And other stuff like Pink Floyd, which is my favorite band personally, for example. All the significant artists in the world of music.
If you think about it, amazing bands coming from England, man.
Yeah.
Of course, it was Jimi Hendrix when he, went to England, changed music forever. But it was more English bands, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Rolling Stones,
Deep
all these bands.
Purple, yeah, absolutely.
The Purple, crazy, amazing bands. Pink Floyd, coming from England. Jeff Beck, amazing guitar player.
Open Your Mind says it's birthday of Peace of Mind today, by the way, 42 years old. Gosh, 42 years have gone by, yeah.
Amazing album as well.
Yeah, Iona Lady Garden says, Marios seems so nice, a smile that meets his eyes. Oh, that's such a beautiful compliment.
Thank you very much.
Any other cool gigs planned? Asks Luke.
Yeah, we have some two festivals that we haven't announced yet. We're gonna play this year, and our booker is looking for more shows in next year, March 26, in Germany, Austria, and Sweden. 10 shows. So we're gonna have news soon about that. Stay tuned on our socials. Like I said before, we're looking for a new label right now, writing new songs. We're really inspired. So it's gonna be more stuff from NIGHTRAGE in the next year for sure.
The only Matthews from the United States is asking you, when NIGHTRAGE started, did you think it would last for 25 years?
No way, man. If you asked me that question back in the day, I would never think like we're gonna have NIGHTRAGE after 25 years and having released 10 albums. But it was my crocodile tenacity, my passion for music that always, make me so driven and so passionate about, carry on with the band.
So, would you like to chill with me for those two songs? Do you have to, because you work? I'm asking you. People, I'm talking to Marios more or less how we would talk off the air, but I know he's tired, I know he works, so I always need to check and see which is the right thing to do with friends and guests, is always ask and see how they're feeling and if they're feeling tired or whatever they want to do. So let's listen to Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which is a long it's 13 minutes, it's epic 13 minutes of music. Maria, feel free during the song, because it is a long intermission. I will pin comments every now and again, but if you need to take a break, if you need to go like a quick bathroom break, don't worry, you can leave the camera on, it's fine, and go get water, whatever you need to do. Yeah, we'll be back, people, listening to Iron Maiden, song selected, obviously, by Marios Iliopoulos of NIGHTRAGE. Here we go.
Metal. If there's any comments, let me know, Orpheus. Σ' ακούω, απλά I can't see you on the other screen. Βλέπω μόνο τον εαυτό μου στη δεξιά κάμερα, στην αριστερή που ήμασταν και οι δύο. Βλέπω... Οκ, θα το κάνω τώρα. Πάλι το ίδιο βλέπω. Μας ακούνε τώρα την Ορφέα. Δεν βλέπω δηλαδή την άλλη κάμερα. Α, κάτσε να δείτε. Α, τώρα έβαλα εμένα. Ναι, έκανα, αλλά δεν βλέπω την αριστερή κάμερα. Δεν μου βγάζει κανένα φото. Δεν κάνα πρόβλημα. Αλλά ήταν ωραία που σε έβλεπα δηλαδή και έβλεπα και τα comments. Ναι. Αν μπορείς να το φτιάξεις θα σου ήμουν υπόχρεο. Να το, τώρα σε βλέπω. Τώρα είναι κομπλέ πάλι. Τέλεια. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Let's hope we're coming soon there. Enjoy the song.
It's fine. He was thanking
Okay.
people. He was thanking. I opened the microphone. Just they can hear you now. They could hear
Yes.
you while you were thanking them, which is great. But there was something weird going on here. My best friend and super technician here hopped on and fixed everything for us, which is great. Thank you, Sentient. Thank you, brother.
One after one, by the stars.
Luke,
obviously.
yeah, I opened the microphone. Luke, you know, it's never too late. Maria, never too late, brother.
Of course.
4 times 15 living men, and I heard no sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they dropped down one by one.
The cursed lamps on in their eyes. The mariner, he wished he died, along with the sea creatures, but they lived on, so did he. And by the light of the moon, he prays for their beauty not doomed. With heart he blesses them, God's creatures, all of them too. Then the spell starts to break. The albatross falls from his neck, sinks down like lead into the sea. Then down it falls, comes the
He's the boss, man. It's the guitarist.
Yeah,
He's the boss.
I opened your microphone so they can hear you now. You can tell
Steve
them.
Harris is the boss. Yeah, yes, I totally agree. Songs.
What's that? Sorry?
How's that possible?
What's that?
No, he created so many good songs. I mean, he's amazing. He's an amazing songwriter and bass player.
Mm. Alexa.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks to Adrian Speak, I took it from him.
And then a boat came sailing towards him. It was a joy he could not believe. The pilot's boat is sad and a hermit. Penance of life will fall onto him. And the ship it sinks like lead into the sea. And the hermit shrieks the manner of his sins. The mariner's bound to tell out his story, to tell his tale.
Ευχαριστώ. I can see, μπορώ να δω καλύτερα.
That we must love all things that God made. And the wedding guest is sad and wise a man. And the tale goes on and on and
That was the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, song selected by Marios Iliopoulos of NIGHTRAGE, whom I've had the pleasure to have had here for the last hour and a half. We've had a great conversation so far. If you've just tuned in, we've spoken about we've spoken about everything from point zero, Maria, from point zero all the way to right now and all the way into the future as well. And lots of people are saying amazing stuff. There's amazing people in the chat today from everywhere. There's absolutely a lot of metalheads here from Greece as well, like Athan, who wrote that your glasses suit you.
Lisa style. Thank you, Lisa. Probably.
Bryce from New Zealand says, love the Greek, because a bit of people heard me speak Greek. Yeah, they heard me and you, just a few words here and there when I said, like, you can talk now. Hannah says, my Greek isn't good enough for this. It's all right.
Hard language to speak, man. It's very hard language.
Oh, look, a question. The only Mayfuse from the United States. He's a black metal artist, by the way. He's asking you about was the creation.
Actually, Metal Split Up, was the creation nitrates more of an objective or just something for fun? No, it was actually the continuation from Exhumation to Nitrates. Was the next band. It was the continuation from the old to the new stuff, you know. Because in Exhumation also I was the writer. I was writing a lot of music. So I wanted to keep continuing the music and play with a new band called Nitrates, which actually took the name from the last album, Traumaticon. There's a song called Nitrates. And it was Gus G's idea to name the band Nitrates. My idea was Traumaticon, to name the band Traumaticon.
Traumaticon,
we took the nitrates from Gus. Thanks, Gus, for that.
And he's referring, if you've just landed here, he's actually talking about Gus G, also former guitarist of Ozzy Osbourne, with whom Marios created NIGHTRAGE back in the early 2000s together. What was I going to say? Oh, Mr. Burbul is from California, and he's from California. He's saying Yasu, actually.
Sure, man. Yasu.
Yamas. Open your mind says, we are so lucky that we were born this era just to know and hear heavy metal bands of 80s and 90s.
The best era, man. 80s for me is the best era for heavy metal music. You know, Metallica, Maiden, all the big bands are coming from that era, and they created the best music, the best albums on that decade. Amazing. I'm blown away from the albums that we heard that back then. You know, so much quality and so much metal feelings. You know,
look, people here did I did my homework. This is the only Mayfuse. And people are saying, really, that's awesome. This is Hannah from the UK. Bryce from New Zealand said, oh, whoa. Mr. Burbul, who is also, like I said, from California, says, I'm half Greek. Mr. Burbul, I didn't remember that part. that's my bad.
There's always a group somewhere, man. Somewhere.
Bryce is asking you. Bryce from New Zealand is asking you about Gus G.
On the first two albums, he played Sweet Vengeance and Descend into Chaos. And also we released with Despots Records 2-3 years ago the demo that me and Gus were created to be able to create NIGHTRAGE. And you can find this on LP and CD as well. The original demos.
The original
Gus
demos.
was singing as well.
Yeah, people, Gus G, you've known him as a guitarist, probably most of you, but he used to actually sing back then as well.
Yeah, he was the only singer that I could find back then.
Has he ever, wait, I don't think he's ever sung after that, has he?
No.
That was the only time as a musician.
From that demos, he doesn't like his voice. He thinks it's too, I don't know, gnarly or noisy, something like that. I don't know, but he changed his vocal. So, but for me, I think it worked for the time. It worked fine. So, it was not a problem for me.
Are you guys still in touch, by the way? Like lately, like over the last few years, do you guys meet up? Because you're living in the same city as him, right?
In the same neighborhood, actually. We used to be in the same neighborhood. I think now Gus living there a little bit far from Thessaloniki. But yeah, he's a really busy guy, so we don't have time for meeting so much anymore. But I'm very happy for him doing his own thing, and he's
with Firewind and everything, yeah.
Yeah, he's playing with his band Firewind and some solo stuff, and he's doing fine. He's really happy with what he's doing, so I'm really happy for him too.
Of course. Mr. Burbul says my family is from Patmos. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I've never been there, so that's cool.
Me neither.
Must be cool. It's an island, isn't it?
Yeah, Patmos. No.
Yes.
What's the biggest festival? It was South Korea.
South Korea. South Korea.
When was that, by the way?
I think it was 2006. No, 2018, 19.
2018.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. It was in a town called Daehoon.
Daehoon, huh?
It was really rough at the beginning because I had to change home 6 times the first year, working in really bad jobs, able to be able to survive. But my goal was like I said before, to record that first album, Sweet Vengeance. So I was working day and night, really, really hard for it, and I was lucky enough, let's say, to record the album, and the rest is history. We're still here after all these years, and being inspired to record new music and all that stuff.
Bearded Ducks is from North Carolina. Bearded Ducks says, "Does Gus still talk with I don't know.
I guess he is. He's Ozzy really liked Gus.
Yeah,
he was chosen really, really fast.
Yeah,
from Ozzy team. So
he really experienced Ozzy Osbourne. He really experienced Ozzy Osbourne.
I mean, if you think about this is an achievement, man. It's crazy. Like if you think what guitar players was before, or with Ozzy, like Tony Iommi and Randy Rhoads, the late Randy Rhoads, and J.K. Lee, all these amazing Zach Wild, all these amazing guitar players. Then it was Gus' turn. It's a great legacy, to be able to play after all these amazing guitar players. It's a miracle.
Having been with Gus G when he was at such an early start in his career, and both of you, when you were starting out, when you formed NIGHTRAGE together, when you were doing those demo tapes and then those first, studio albums, how did you feel? Because I take it he's a very dear friend to you in your heart, in life. How did you feel, also as a friend, also as a guitarist, also as a former bandmate? How did you feel the moment he landed that spot as Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist? How did you feel proud? And I felt
proud. I felt proud and happy for him, and I knew that he was the right guitarist for the band, for Ozzy Osbourne. And I kind of knew it when he actually told me that first night when he got the mail from the management. I told him straight away that you're gonna be the guitarist for this for Ozzy, and he couldn't believe it by himself. But I kind of knew it because I could see the picture in front of my
Yeah,
eyes. Like,
yeah.
yeah, he fits with Ozzy, and he did a great job. Playing great shows
Hmm.
and having a lot of fun. So it was. I felt very happy for him. Because it's at least one of the guys in Greece, because you know how much hard it is for us
Yeah.
being Greek and play metal music.
Hmm.
At least one of the guys from the whole metal Greek scene, he made it, and he was a friend of mine. So that was a very good feeling, to be honest.
Hmm.
Really good feeling.
Oh,
Yes.
this is a nice question here. Is there anyone you've met that you got a bit starstruck?
Yeah. That probably was Ozzy. When Gus introduced me to Ozzy, oh man,
Would you like to tell us
I
this
was
little
like,
story?
yeah, I was in the backstage when they played in Athens,
Hmm.
and then Gus told we were sitting in the backstage, and then all of a sudden Gus said, "Now I'm gonna bring Ozzy here to introduce you to him." And I didn't want that to happen, to be honest. Because
Were
I,
you
uh,
shaking?
I have a lot.
Were you shaking? I would have been shaking a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, yes. And then he came like a very normal guy. He shake my hand, look at my eyes, and he asked me how I am, how I'm feeling, how are you doing, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy to see one of your idols in front of you talking like a normal person. It's an eye-opening experience, to be honest. So
Like I always tell people, they've heard this story from me so many times. That was the same for me when I met randomly, because I was chilling with Corey Taylor when I met James Hetfield while I was chilling with Corey Taylor. And Hetfield, because Hetfield doesn't make many public appear, like he doesn't really show up, like you have to be at the right time, at the right place, sorry, at the right time to kind of meet James Hetfield. And I was like, I was shaking. My hand was sweating. I was shaking. I couldn't talk. And he was shaking my
no,
hand, going, "Hey, my name is James." I'm like, I know.
there's certain people that you have in your mind. They're like gods.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you meet them, it's an it's you can't believe it actually.
It's-
I saw like Lemmy and I saw Bruce Dickinson. I saw some people from a very short distance,
Mhm.
but I never felt this the same way when I met Ozzy, because Ozzy is Ozzy.
Ozzy's
So
Ozzy, man. Ozzy's Ozzy.
yeah,
Will you
kind of
be?
crazy.
I don't know. What was the date? People correct me if my brain is falling apart. But the last concert has not taken place. Is it early June or late May? I can't remember. Are you gonna be seeing that?
Well, our drummer Fotis, he's going to the concert.
No way. He
He,
got a
he,
ticket. He got a ticket.
he got a ticket with his wife, so
Oh,
I'm very jealous of him
of
and his
course.
wife,
Yeah.
because they're gonna watch Pantera, Metallica, Ozzy's, Black Sabbath, all
Everything.
these amazing bands. And yeah, it's gonna be an experience. So I'm waiting from feedback from Fotis to tell me what's up.
Hmm. This is.
If you can read for me, I can
Yeah,
see.
it's a big message. That's why it says, "Was Sweet Vengeance in 2003 just a name you came up with for the record, or was it kind of a jab at fans saying we're back?"
Well, it was my way of saying to some people that they didn't believe in me,
Mm.
that I will keep continue doing what I love to do, because some people back in the day, when I told them that I'm gonna move to Sweden and try to make a new band, and they were making fun of me. So
Mm.
it was a way for me to tell them that I'm let's say I
Yeah,
made it. I
yeah,
make my dream. It was a phrase that I
yes,
used
yeah, yeah.
to prove something, to prove a point. Let's
Hmm.
say.
Hmm. Uh, Balaz is from Hungary. Balaz here is from Hungary. He says, "Can you share a memorable moment from touring?"
It's always the hanging out with your friends, meeting new people, sharing a lot of stories, seeing a lot of different cities, different towns, and different countries. This is an amazing experience, and for us to be able to do that and experience that, it's always a pleasure. So there's always something new.
Okay, Nelson is from Portugal, I believe. I remember Gus G have a cover with the awesome Alexi.
Yeah,
Alexi.
they actually, I think they made a photo shoot for the Young Guitar magazine back in the day in Japan. It was Alexi Gas. So they, or probably they jammed together or something like that. I don't remember, but I remember that cover in the Young Guitar magazine, one of the biggest guitar magazines in Japan. It was the Gas with Alexi, the late Alexi. Too bad that we lost that guy.
This is Schnitzel. She's Swedish and she lives in Australia. I don't really know what she's saying in Swedish right now, but you probably do you speak? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
The problem is that I can't really see the text. It's too small.
Smaken är som baken de lad. I don't know. If Marius is laughing, I have no idea what she said.
Yeah, something with taste, I think.
Okay.
Say something more is taste. Okay. I don't really see the text because my
yeah.
It's small.
Marius understood him. Oh, you're talking about Ozzy. Bryce, you're talking about Ozzy? Is that what you're referring to? Marius understood Ozzy when he met him. Is that what you're referring to?
Means the previous comment in Swedish.
Maybe. Who's the meanest star you've met? The meanest.
Meanest? Well, there's good and bad people out there. Everywhere you go, you can experience that. So I don't want to say a name or something like that, but there's always bad and good people, and I prefer to go towards the good ones. To be honest with you.
Exactly. Let's see what else people are talking about. I met Vinnie Paul. Never forget and never met Dime or Rex.
Yeah. These two guys, man, so it's a tragedy. I never been able to see Pantera playing live. And, I know Dimebag was one of the nicest guy and more talented guitar players ever existed in music. I think.
I agree. I spoke to Vinnie Paul once in my lifetime. I had the opportunity. I spoke to him. And I've told this to the people here many times that the moment I meant he was super nice to me. The moment I mentioned Phil Anselmo, he said to me over my dead body, like if they would ever like be a band
amazing
again.
musician as well, Vinnie Paul. One of the best drummers.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
So groovy, man. So groovy. Amazing drummer. Killer drummer.
Love Ozzy so much, and I saw him one time, and was one of the best shows I ever watched. Yeah, of course.
He's one of the greatest performers ever lived, I think.
What a question.
Will Ozzy?
Imagine if this is the last thing he does on stage. The very last thing is just bite the head off a bat. Hannah's on the menu. Okay. Marius rocks. He does.
Say metal. Thank you.
Nelson says, hi, what is the best place to play live? We've said, well, the best place to play live. To play live.
Best place to play live is your rehearsal room.
If you can conquer that first, then you're good. If you can conquer your own rehearsal room, yeah. Look, Stratos, he's Greek. He says, hello, Orpheus. Also, what a great surprise to bring Marios in this channel. What a great guitar player. He's amazing, Strato.
Of course, there are better ones, but, we're trying to create, create some good songs here. That's it.
Are there any newer bands you are liking at the moment? Newer bands?
Yeah, I think I like Sleep Token. They're crazy good songwriting. I
Yeah.
like a lot of cool bands actually.
There's
Screaming is a good band. Maybe it's not a new one, but anyway.
if anyone
Uh,
ever tells you, Maria, if anyone ever tells you, not with regards to Night Rage, with regards to younger generations, I sometimes hear it and I get upset when people tell me this. Oh, there's nothing new coming out. Oh, there's no new good bands. I always tell them, you're wrong. You just don't have. You don't. You need to open your ears. And you mentioned Sleep Token. What do you say usually to people who tell you, oh, there's nothing
that's not
new?
true, man.
Huh?
That's not true. There's always good music. There's good and bad music out there, always.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really search and you really have your ears open, you can find good music. It doesn't really matter what genre, even if it's not metal, and there's always good music out there. You need to have your ears open. That's all.
Nelson says yes for sure, and I remember Gus talk about that cover with when Alexei passed away. Alexei of Children of Bodom people. Huh?
Children bottom,
Yeah.
yes.
Maybe we'll be sad to see Ozzy on stage sitting on a throne, but this kind of bands like Black Sabbath. Yeah.
It's gonna be an experience, to see Ozzy and Sabbath for the last time. So what doesn't matter where if he stands or not. It's gonna be an unforgettable experience.
Oh, he says like so the complete sentence. So he completed this by saying but these kind of bands like Black Sabbath have a duty to die on the stage. I understand how he means it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they
Living for
started
the
it. They
music.
started it. So for them, it's like the beginning and the end is on stage, so to speak.
Yes. Should be like that.
I'm slightly starstruck here at home by watching us here. Oh, that's so kind. That's so nice. Don't be
Thank you.
starstruck.
Thank you.
We would have Marios is such a humble guy. I can confirm personally. We would be sitting if we could. If Marios and I could, we would probably be sitting in a big cafe or something, and we'd still be having this conversation with all of you face to face for sure.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Marie, when all the black metal stuff was happening in the 90s, mainly Norway and the church mishaps?
I think it was a great moment for the music because this kind of bands changed music, and they were making dangerous music, let's say. Of course, the incidents happened at the same time, and probably some of the bands, took some pain from that incidents. But I think the music they were creating was amazing. So bands like Mayhem and Dark Throne and Emperor, they make really great music, and that's why we are still actually listening to them because of the amazing songs they have created. But it was unfortunate all these incidents that happened. But I tried to separate that from the music. To be honest with you, I don't think for me in my mind, I don't think it should be related.
I'll just take a few more last questions because it's getting real late, people. What is your dream festival to play at?
Maybe Hellfest.
Hellfest. Maria, have you
That would be
played?
good.
Have you? How come? Wait, have you played Wacken and all that in the past?
No, we haven't played Wacken. I've been there as a fan, watching the band. I wish we can play one day, but it's gonna happen for sure one day.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
we keep continuing releasing albums, one day they're gonna ask us to play there.
you have a booking agent, right? You have a booking agent working for you, right?
It's Metallian Booking from France. He's the same guy, Yves, that runs Metallian magazine, one of the biggest French magazines. Really, really nice guys. We met them now on our recent European dates, mini European dates. Amazing team of people, really passionate about music, and we can't wait to work with them once again.
That's a big truth there. There's good and bad music, Mario speaking facts.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever you like on your ears, that's what good music is.
exactly.
Doesn't matter what-
I always
not
rephrase.
perfect.
I always say there's music that I like and there's music I don't like. That's it at the end of the day. Because what I don't like, you like. And what you don't like,
Yeah,
I like. You know what I mean?
it's a very personal thing, you know. Music, taste. It's a taste thing, you know. So some people like that, some people don't. You know, it's like same with cooking. Some people like certain foods, and some people like other foods. So you know, it's a matter of taste.
I think people forget bands are real people. Yes, they forget that
That's true.
sometimes.
Yes, with emotions and all that stuff, and all the
Everything.
baggage coming with. You know,
And sometimes, sometimes big musicians or like really famous musicians are equally stressed when meeting new people.
yes,
Because usually people think, oh, I'm the one who is stressed because I'm meeting, I don't know, like someone famous. But there's a lot of cases, and I've met big names who they get stressed when they have to meet somebody or fans for the first time, or they don't know who they're meeting, or you know what I mean? Like they get this kind of like anxiety rush sometimes as well, because they're human
but
beings.
thankfully, we have music being the glue that connects us all together. The music is the glue, you know, that put all us together, and it's the unspoken language. You know, we all speak. Thank you. I like them too. Now I see myself in the music.
They're cool, man. Sentient number 6 says, I remember like yesterday when NIGHTRAGE first got together in 2000 and we reported the news as new superband project formed. Cries in old.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was like I said, it was a huge surprise for me to sign with the first album with a new band, NIGHTRAGE. It was kind of surprise for me too. Like I said, I didn't expect that to happen, but it happened for a reason because the label liked the songs a lot and the whole vibe, and you know, it was. I was so passionate about that, working my ass off to make it happen.
I know someone who played Hellfest. Oh. Well, get NIGHTRAGE on Hellfest, man.
Yeah, scream at the promoters there to bring NIGHTRAGE.
Exactly.
Maybe our booker now, Metallian, he's trying that, so we should play there. It would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That would kick ass, dude. Hellfest is such a huge festival. The only Matthews from the United States says, my final question, and this is actually a nice way to wrap up the questions in the chat. It says, what are your goals or aspirations for the future of NIGHTRAGE? Perfect question.
Thanks for the question. Really good question. Keep it up with the music, you know. We still feel inspired, so that's a good thing. Creating more music, playing more shows, meeting more great people, and make this connection even more stable. You know? That's the future plans of NIGHTRAGE.
And kick more ass.
Yeah, you can count with it sometimes.
You always kick
Comes
ass,
along.
brother. You always kick ass, brother. You always do. You always
I
do.
don't know about that, but for sure we love what we are doing. We love it to the death. So you know,
But that's why
something good is happening.
That's why you kick ass, brother. I told you this, that you kick ass because you love what you do. You're passionate about your art, your craft. You know what I mean? And when you really,
Yes.
when you really love what you do, when you're really passionate, and you give 100% of your heart to it, you know, magic is what what happens.
Music, you know, that connection is, you know, it's making a strong bond between you and the fans, and everybody feeds each other with energy. So it's a great thing.
People, we're going to listen to the final song selection of Marios Iliopoulos here. He's picked Metallica, right? You've picked Metallica. Is there...
Metallica, the title track, Master of Puppets.
Exactly, Master of Puppets. How significant
Probably
of...
the best album, for me, the best metal album ever exists right now.
I was going to ask, yeah.
It's this one. It's Master of Puppets.
How heavily did Master of Puppets influence a young Marios Iliopoulos back then?
Too much.
Did you have it on
when I
tape?
heard that album,
Did you have it on tape or on vinyl back then?
think I was the cassette type of guy.
Cassette. Yeah.
So I had it on cassette. And
Same.
that cassette played so many times, man. Back and forth, back and forth. You know, this cassette was destroyed in the end. So I needed to buy a new one.
I'm the same, brother. I had specifically Master of I didn't have everything on tape. I just had a few things here and there, like, you know, and then CDs came along. But Master of Puppets, monumental album, monumental experience for whoever's just getting into metal. It's still, for me, it's a gateway. I always recommend albums like Master of Puppets for people starting out, asking me, what should I listen to? What album should I check from Metallica? That's amazing. I always say, go with Master of Puppets. Everything else will come.
Let's say that if extraterrestrials come to Earth and ask us what is metal, we should show them Master of Puppets.
Absolutely.
That's metal.
100%. 100%. Let's listen.
What's good music?
Yeah.
Or if they ask what's good music, we can, give them Master of Puppets. That's good music.
Let's listen to Master of Puppets for the next 8 minutes. Then we'll come back, and then the stage will be yours to have the final words of this amazing, I've had an amazing time, just so you know, this amazing interview. Whatever you want to plug, whatever you want to say to people, the final bit is going to be completely yours. People, keep supporting. If you like it here, show some love. Whatever you want to do, tap that screen, subscribe, follow NIGHTRAGE, obviously, or NIGHTRAGE is on TikTok, but we will say these things anyways when we come back from the song. Marios will tell you where to go to, where you can find the band, how you can support the band. We'll be right back. Maria, off we go with Master of Puppets. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Actually, well, I don't know about that. I think Metallica is guys.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, wizard. Yes.
Mine too, man. They're fucking amazing. Me too, bro. We're the same. I love them to the death, man. I agree with you.
Chuck Billy is God. Chuck Billy. I hope to be as good as mine.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for the nice words.
That's such a kind compliment, man. Let's see. Priest or maiden, Mario? Which one would you choose? Only one.
Maiden.
Maiden, huh? You're more maiden than priest, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. My feelings are not hurt, but
Okay.
here we are, people. We were reading your comments all along.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely
Thanks
amazing.
for joining us.
Absolutely amazing crowds today, Maria. I have to say, brother.
Wow. Thank you very much for giving me some love tonight. Thank you very
Why
much.
did it start playing in from zero? Something went wrong with my computer, but it's fine. I first heard this song, Master of Puppets, I take it, Wizard, you're talking about. I first heard this song while I was playing darts in a tournament, hit the hat trick while it was playing. Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. Hamster, says Schnitzel says hamster. Obey your hamster. Like Iona Lady Garden from Scotland said, obey your hamster. I definitely agree. Okay, people talking to each other. Mari, I want you. First of all, I want to thank you. Listen, before I hand you the stage to plug in whatever you've got going, whatever you want to say to the people, whatever you want to promote, whatever you want to direct them to. Personally, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. We did an interview decades ago, and I've known you all along. Not maybe on a level that we were chilling together because you live in a different city, and you're in Thessaloniki, I'm in Athens, and it's not the easiest thing to obviously meet up with people and have these kind of conversations. But thanks to platforms like this nowadays, I'm able to be to tell you, Maria, would you like to come on and just hang out with me for an hour or whatever and talk about things? Thank you so much for doing that, man. It means a lot to me. And I really honestly hope that today you had a good time here. I hope you enjoyed it yourself. And I would like you to tell people whatever you want, like the final words of this conversation are yours. You can direct them wherever you want to direct them. You can plug whatever you want to promote or plug. The microphone is yours.
First, thank you very much for the invitation. I really appreciate that. I had a really good time. I never take it for granted when I'm doing an interview or a podcast or being on a metal show like yours. I never take it for granted. So it's always a pleasure to be with guys like you that love
Thank you.
and are loving metal and are passionate about it.
Thank you so
Like
much.
I am as well. I want to actually send my warm greetings to all your viewers, listeners. Thank you very much for your nice comments. Keep listening to the music, keep supporting bands, listen to good music, go to the live shows, enjoy music, and help each other. Help your fellow human beings and make a better world. So stay metal. Thank you very much for
Where
tonight.
can they, Mari? Where can they find you? Would you like to tell people if they would love to support the band or follow the band? Which you're on all the platforms, right? All of the platforms.
Yes. The most easy is the official site, NIGHTRAGE.com. We have a shop there that people can buy our CDs or merch, shirts, stuff like that, and LPs. And also we can go to our Facebook or Instagram, TikTok. We usually put daily on a daily basis news about the band. So whoever likes NIGHTRAGE also can go to Spotify, on our official Spotify, and listen to the songs for free, of course. Keep supporting the band in any way possible. You don't have to buy something. As long as you can hear the music, that means a lot to us. Thank you very, very much.
And see you, hopefully, see them and see me as well. Because if you guys play, are you playing Athens anytime soon? By the way,
we just played a show in Athens and Thessaloniki.
It was just now.
Yes.
Oh damn!
In Gagarin Club, it was really nice. The day before Dark Tranquility played. We played Gagarin.
Ah, okay. I remember. I kind of remember when
it was
that
a cool show. And the day before we played in Thessaloniki, and then before that we did some European shows in France, Germany, and Belgium.
Do you know
and,
what
we're looking forward to the new ones?
Do you know what we're gonna do next time you're in Athens, or next time I'm where you are? Do you know what we're gonna do? And hopefully I'll have like I don't know, at least a better phone with me. We're gonna go the concert and everything. When I see you, we're gonna chill and I'm gonna drink and we're gonna go live backstage together and have a conversation with everyone, and all the lovely people here will be super happy to see you again. And guys, please, whenever you see NIGHTRAGE, ask, obviously go check out NIGHTRAGE live. when they come to your town or your festival. If they're not, like Mario said many times earlier on in the conversation, harass your local promoters, harass them and tell them, I want to see NIGHTRAGE. Flood them with requests, with emails, or whatever it is that people do nowadays. Comments. And have them play your town, your festival, or wherever you live around the world. Maria, again, from the bottom of my heart, brother, because you are a true metal brother, thank you so much for being here today. I really, from the depths of my heart, I mean it, wish you always health above everything. Because if you don't have it, if we don't have it, then, like you said at the beginning of the interview, everything else is meaningless if you don't have your health. So, health above everything, and I wish you wholeheartedly to keep kicking ass, pumping out solid death metal albums together with your band NIGHTRAGE. I can't wait to hear the next one again, because it's going to be even more powerful now that you're back with the Fotis Bernardos, the ex-drummer of Septic Flesh, and an old actually bandmate of yours, and all the lovely people that you have in the band now, and the force is very strong. I can't wait to hear what you have coming up next. We will definitely be doing this again. I told you when the microphone was closed, I said to you.
Can wait.
So, brother, I will let you go and get some good rest, because it's late over here in Greece. People, just to put things into perspective, it's Thursday night, but we are already 1:17 at night. So 17 minutes past 1 at night. Maria, we will talk soon, and I will definitely let you know. I will definitely let you know tomorrow or over the weekend when I upload the entire interview. I will pass it over to you, so you can also share it with the more hardcore NIGHTRAGE fans that follow you everywhere. You know what I mean? Like your crowd, your friends. Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, man. Love to everyone. Send my love to everyone.
100%.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Orpheus.
Thank you, Mario. Marios Iliopoulos of NIGHTRAGE, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, brother. Take care, man. Take care.